Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna be making a floral pop-up desk calendar. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to upload our SVG. So I'm gonna click on upload image, browse, and then I'm gonna select the file or folder that says SVG cut files, and then select the one that has the SVG extension. So this SVG includes the entire design, which is the floral bouquet, the base pieces, and the envelope. So once we do that, we select it and then click on insert images, and you're gonna see that as soon as it's inserted in design space, it's gonna look a little bit big. So what you need to do is we just decrease the zoom up to a point where we can see the entire design, because we are gonna need to follow a couple more steps here. So if you want to create it with the same size as the one that we are gonna be making today, you don't have to adjust the size at all. The one that you see is the one that you're gonna need, which is the 29 inches by 14.8 inches. But if by any chance you want to make it either bigger or smaller, just keep in mind that you need to keep the design group. Otherwise, the pieces are not going to be even, and then you will have problems once you start putting everything together, because they won't be alike. And if you kind of want to see or calculate the size, you can just ungroup it once and then click here, for example, and then you see that this piece is 6.2 inches by 6.2 inches also, and then also here and there, here, and these pieces, so you can kind of see what size you have. And then you select all of it, group it again, and then you can either make it bigger or make it smaller, etc., depending how the size that you want to have. So then after that, once you have decided the size, and especially if you didn't touch the size at all, then the next step will be ungroup it, because we need to work with these lines, cut and score lines, to make sure that they are attached, and also the lines like this one are converted to score lines. So what we have to do here, if you click here, you are actually selecting this little piece. That's not the one that we need to work with. And also, if you click here, you have the leaves. So you have to click exactly on the pink section to select this one, as those are the pieces that we need to work with to adjust the lines. So once you click there, you are gonna notice that on the layers section is kind of highlighted or selected here, and then the next step will be to click on these lines to see which ones are the ones that we need to convert to score lines. And as you can see, they kind of are highlighting a little bit, so the ones that we need to convert are these two. So I'm gonna select them, and then on their line type, you are gonna select score. But then the next step now is attach all the lines, which are the score lines, and then these other ones that we see here. So one way is clicking on the entire group here where the name is showing up, and then click on attach. And then you're gonna see, like, it's kind of like if your green pieces have disappeared, but it's not that. What Design Space is doing here is just bringing this pink piece to the front. So we can just do right click and send to back, and then it will look the same as it was before. So then we need to do the same with this piece and with these two pieces. So that's what I'm gonna start doing right now. Okay, so now I'm gonna work with the base pieces. And these are all score lines. Oops. So I'm gonna go back here, select the group. Oh no, it's here. And attach. Trying to do it faster, so that's why I'm missing steps here. Okay, so group, attach, and then the last one here, again my score, then select the group, attach. And with the envelope, these two pieces are grouped. As you can see that this is not active, that means that these two pieces are grouped, so we need to ungroup it first, and then only the blue piece is the one that has a score line. So I'm gonna select the lines also and change them to a score, and then select the group and attach. And now I have one more to do, which is the petals, and this is good as a cut line but still needs to be attached. So I'm gonna click attach, and that's it. So now I have my SVG ready, and we can just click on make it if we want, just to kind of double check that all the lines are where they're supposed to be. And then we are good to go. So that means that that part is done. And one thing before we start actually uploading the calendar images is that for these particular pieces, so the design has 2 of these pieces and 4 of these pieces, because we need 2 with the cut lines on top and 2 of the cut line with the cut lines at the bottom. So I'm going to select these 2 and then make a copy of those, then Ctrl V, and I have these 2 pieces ready. And the reason why the SVG doesn't have these other 2 pieces right away is because if that was the case, then we will have to follow the same steps with these 2 pieces to attach and convert the lines to score lines, and it's easier if we just do it on these 2 pieces and then we just make a copy of this. And also we need a copy of this piece. The reason why is because this piece has a total of 13 inches, and as you know, the mat has 12 by 12 inches, unless you use the bigger mat, but since some people may have mostly the 12 by 12 inches, I want to create the design so you are able to create this space regardless the type of mat or size of mat that you are using. So you will need to create two of these. And also the reason why the two pieces are not there right away is because that way you don't have to follow the steps for score lines twice. You just do it once and then you make a copy. And then with this one we also need to create two per flower or tulip or whatever you want to call it, because one petal goes in one of these little sections that you see here. So we need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 7, 18, 20. Sorry. So we need 20 of these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a Control C and Control V, and I have 2 of these. So I can do Control V a couple more times. Now I have 5. So I'm just gonna group them, and then I'm gonna do Control C, Control V. Now I have 10, Control V I have 15, and Control V once again I have 20. So now I have my 20 pieces, and I can just align them to be even like this. So the second step now is to upload the calendar images, which are PNG. The reason why is because they already have color and we are gonna use them as print and cut. So I'm gonna click on upload, upload image, browse, and then we are gonna go to the folder that is called PNG calendar images. We are gonna select them one by one, and don't worry about the order because you will have the chance to organize them once you have all the pieces ready to put them together. So once you select it, we click on complex, continue again, and then make sure that this option is the one that is selected, which is save as print and cut image, and then click on save it. So I already did this, followed the same steps for each month, so I'm just gonna select them and insert them. And then I click on insert images. So once we do that, they are gonna be inserted at the very top. And one thing that we can do here is we can select them all from the layers section because it's easier here. And we are gonna align them horizontal and vertical, so it's easier for us to move them anywhere else. So I'm gonna click center horizontally and then vertical, and I'm gonna bring it to an area where I don't have anything in the back. So let's bring them here. So if you're gonna notice that the one that says calendar 2021 is smaller, and all you need to do is make it same size as the others, or you can even dismiss it if you don't want to print it. Okay, so the next step that we need to see or follow is that we need to group this just to modify the size according to your preference, and the piece that is going to be your reference is is this one, because this is the one that is gonna hold the calendar pieces. You will see later once we start putting the pieces together. So it's up to you to decide how big do you want each month to look like. And if you want to make it smaller or even to that piece, you just have to make sure that it fits this area like this, and then this will be kind of your size to use. So then once you have decided the size and you are good to go, the next step will be to check how these images are gonna look once you print and cut them. So let's hit make it again, and you can see here that is giving you 2 months per page. If that's the size that you want, the only thing that you could do is align them to be 4 months per page. Let's do that to show you how. So you have to click on ungroup again, and then we are going to kind of put 4 months together like this. And then we are gonna click on flap. So now if we go to make it again, you can see that now you have 4 months, and I don't think we have room to do 6 months because of the size. If you would like to fit 6, then you will have to make it smaller, but it will be hard to read the numbers. So I will recommend to not make it too smaller. You can also see here that you have already 4 months there and you are good. And then you will have to do the same with the other, with 2 more groups of 4, and then you will have 3 pages for the calendars. The other option that you have is using Microsoft Word. It will give you a chance to make them bigger and maybe fit 6 months, with the disadvantage that you will have to cut each month one by one manually. So you have 2 options. Each one has an advantage and a disadvantage, because if you use Design Space, you will be able to make just 4, but it will cut the squares for you for each month. So it's one of the things. But at least you have 2 options. So I will say follow the step that works best for you. Probably in terms of time will be easier if you do it in Microsoft Word. I will just recommend to make that decision before you upload images, the calendar images, so that way you don't have to work double doing the same thing, inserting images first in Design Space and then having to do it again on Microsoft Word. What you could do is maybe just upload 1 month in Design Space, check the size that you want to use, and then go to make it to kind of have an idea how they are going to look like and see if that will work for you. And if it doesn't, then you can just go ahead and do it in Microsoft Word. It will print faster, and then you just will have to cut each month with scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this as it is, pretending that my project now is ready, and assuming that this is the size that I want for this month. So then all I will need to do here is make 2 more groups of 4, select flatten, and then you are gonna see here that now it's giving me this view. And I still will have one more square that will be by itself because I have 15 images, right? So now I'm just gonna select this 4 and this is what I have. And then if I go to make it, this is what I gonna have previously. And here I have my 20 pieces, and I have 3 here and 1 more, I believe. Yeah, 1 more here. And then with these pieces, if you notice, you kind of have a space here, so you can definitely fit these pieces here, so you can save some paper. And the way you have to do it is you have to click on this piece and then click here, move object, and then you select where you want it to be. So I'm gonna select this one, click on confirm, and then you can either make it fit like this, or you can kind of rotate it a little bit so you can use more space, depending on also of the size of paper that you are using. And that way you will save some paper a lot, and also the number of mats to use will be less. Okay, and then at any time try to save your project. So independently if you do the whole process right away, or if you do half one time and then you go back and continue, you have it there. Okay, so now that I have everything ready to start working with, the next step will be to cut all the pieces and then start with the assemble process. So I'm not gonna show the cut part because I'm trying to save some time, but if you have any questions about the cut process, please leave your comments below and I will be happy to help you with those questions that you may have or comments. Okay, so these are the pieces that we are gonna use. We need 4 of these pieces, 2 that have the cut lines at the top and 2 that have the cut lines at the bottom. 2 of these pieces, which are the ones that go to the center. One has the cut line at the bottom, one on top also. And then these leaves that are gonna go in this area. This, and these 2 are actually one piece, but my Cricut didn't make the capture like that, so if you have 2, that's totally fine, and if you have only 1, that's fine also. And then for the main pieces or the bigger pieces, this is how these leaves are gonna be glued. And these are all the petals, which I mentioned were 20, and they have a cut line right here, and you will see in a bit how they are gonna work. And these are the pieces for the base, and I will be showing you the envelope. Okay, so the first thing we are gonna do, we need to glue these pieces like this. And one thing to mention is that the glue is ideal to not put it on all the way from the bottom to the top, just halfway up. And because when the leaves, to make them look like they are free and moving and things like that. And the pin section that has the leaves is also a good reference to see where the green leaves are going to be. And then I'm gonna do the same here. So now I already did these 3 pieces, following the same steps as I did with the bigger pieces. And your reference to make sure that they are even is you can just put one on top of the other one that you already glue, and then you kind of see where the other leaves should go. And again, add glue only halfway. That way the green leaves that you already glued before will be your reference, and all these pieces will be even. And then just add extra glue for those sections that maybe don't have glue, just to make sure that the parts that are attached to the pink piece are completely attached. So now I have all the pieces here. And then we're going to start with these pieces, but before that, these pieces have cut lines, so we have to kind of redo those cut lines with the scissors, because the green leaves that we glue are blocking those cut lines now. So you basically have to cut again where it was the cut line before, and then you have this piece free. And with this one is exactly in the middle. It's actually in the middle only that you need to cut, and that will be it. Now you have this piece free. So then these 2 pieces are going to be like this. So we have a cut line at the top, and then we just make sure that they are even. And we can use something like this just to keep things in place. And then we are gonna use these little pieces that are glued like this. These pieces are also gonna help to hold the center of this bouquet. So I'm gluing one on top and one on the back. And if you notice, the back doesn't have a green leaves, but if you wanted to have it, then you just need to print or cut one more piece of those. And now what I'm doing is I'm just using a little bit of tape just to keep everything in place while I'm putting all the pieces together. And I'm doing it with this one, especially because this is the one that is gonna be in the center and it's gonna hold everything else. Then we can start folding this a little bit, especially this section that has those green pieces glued. And now we have to start placing these 4 pieces. So these have the cut lines at top. I also have to use the scissors to redo them again. With the cut lines on top. I'm just kind of adding extra glue in those areas that I feel need more glue. Remember, these cut lines are already there. It's just that we glued the green leaves and that's why they are blocked now. Okay, so now we are gonna start putting all the kind of layers, if we call them that way, together. And just keep in mind that the green leaves needs to be facing you, because this doesn't have a 360 degrees look. It's only at the front side that you see the combinations between green and pink. If you would like to have it all around, then you need to print 3 more green leaves, 1 for the big pieces and 3 for the smaller, and 2 for the smaller ones, sorry. And here you kind of just have to follow the cuts, so the ones that are on top go against the ones that are at the bottom. And then here it could be a little bit tricky because of the leaves, but you should be able to add these pieces no problem, without any problem. And take your time with this step because this is the one that takes a little bit longer, especially if it's your first time creating a card, a bouquet like this. So on the video it's a little bit hard to see the cut lines, but once you make it, this part will make more sense because you will be able to see the cut lines, and then all these movements that I making will make more sense for sure. And if you have any questions about this particular step, please feel free to leave your comments below or contact me either on my Facebook group or my Facebook page or anywhere else where you know you can find me, and I will be happy to help you. As I know on the video it may look a little bit tricky, but it has that look mostly because of the leaves, but other than that it's very straightforward. So now I have all the pieces, and you can see kind of the squares in between that are being created. And this is kind of like a preliminary look of this bouquet. Then we just make these pieces flat and just make sure that the look that you have is exactly like the one you see right now, because all the green leaves needs to be facing you, and the back is the one that is not gonna have those green colors like this, so you can tell the difference because of that. So now I'm just aligning everything, and this is important because that will allows me to fold the bouquet without problems. And I'm again just using tape just to have it a little bit more stable. And then I'm gonna start folding these corners based on the score lines that we created previously that were already part of the design as well. And I'm gonna do the same on the back side. So now I'm gonna start building the base. So the base has two pieces. For the size that I'm making, the pieces are 6.5 inches each one, and this is the second part. And I made two because I use a mat 12 by 12 inches. So then what I need to do is I need to attach them like this to have a full just one piece. So I'm using hot glue so I can do this quick. And now I'm gonna place my bouquet like this. And this center is my reference that is gonna it has to match the center of the vase. So that will be your reference to know if it's centered or not. Then once you have the bouquet where it's supposed to be, then we can start adding the hot glue on those pieces that have score lines. And I'm doing it half of this side first, just to make sure that in case anything move, I can still make some adjustments on the other side. Other than that, otherwise I can just continue adding the hot glue. And then the next step will be to do the same on the back. And remember to put just a little bit of hot glue. Don't put too much, because if it goes further than the area where it's supposed to be, it will get glue everywhere else, and then we won't be able to fold this bouquet once the glue is dry. So then the next step is glue these two pieces, so now we will have a base that it will look like it's just one piece. Then remove any excess of glue. So now if I fold it, you can just take a look and see if everything got glue very well, and also make sure that it's folding without any problems. This is the back and this is the front. So now these are the petals, and these are the pieces that are gonna hold the holder for the calendar pieces. So I'm just folding this piece like this, and it's gonna go right here towards the center also of the vase. So the center of the vase will be your reference as well. And then this little piece has also score lines here. And it's gonna be glue right here. So I'm gonna leave that step at the end, and now I'm gonna start putting the petals on each one of these pieces, and it's gonna be cut line against cut line, just like this. So this step is adding some dimension to each flower or tulip, um, so they kind of have like this 3D look. And then you can just add a little bit of hot glue if the petals are moving, so they are stable, and also that will prevent them for moving to the point that they will get loose. So I'm gonna add these petals on each one. As I mentioned it before, each one has two. And the one in the middle seems that has four, but it's because it's the combination of the two big pieces that we have. So with the petals, we just need to fold them by half and then place the like this. And if your Cricut doesn't cut those little cut lines all the way through, you just need to use your scissors, and then that will solve the problem. And now I have all the petals in place, and you can see that looks very nice. So now I'm just making quick adjustments here, just to make sure everything looks okay, and then I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue on some of the pieces, so they won't move, because they are kind of 45 degrees, and you will see that they will move if we don't glue them. So I'm just adding very small amount of glue. So now I'm gonna continue with the base and I'm gonna attach this piece. So this piece needs to be not 90 degrees, so I'm just adding a small piece here, but this is optional. The design doesn't have this little piece. I just wanted to add a little gap. And what I did is I just create a piece exactly like the one that I have here below this little piece that I'm making, just to add an extra space at the bottom. And then the next step is attach this piece. And this one needs to be aligned at the bottom according to the base, so it will give extra strength to hold the calendar pieces. Then the last step is just to kind of make quick adjustments, make sure everything looks okay. And remove any excess of hot glue. You can also use just normal glue. And then I'm using this pen just to add some lines to the leaves so they look a little bit real. Okay, so now all the leaves have that part, and then we just add some color on the top of the tulips or flowers if we want to. That's definitely optional. So let's create the envelope now. So for the envelope, I only need to use these two pieces. I'm gonna cut the corner so it's easier to fold this piece. And just this piece is the one that has the score lines. And then it's gonna be glue like this. I'm playing here to see what's the best side for me to attach these two pieces. And then I'm gonna add glue to both sides. And that would be pretty much it for this envelope. It's pretty easy. Super easy. So now the bouquet is gonna go like this. And you can see that I add a couple pieces on top, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave them or not on top of the flowers. So now the last part is I'm gonna complement the bouquet with the calendar month, the calendar, and this is how it's gonna look. And then you just have to put each month that has expired on the back. And I create this small piece additional just to kind of place the calendar this way. And this is how the person that you give it to will receive it. And if you don't create this piece, so you can just add a clip to hold them, and then you're good to go. There's one step less to follow. Just like this. And this piece is not part of the design because it will depend on the size of the calendar that you make. So this is how the pop-up test calendar is gonna look at the end. You can see it's very nice. It's a nice way to have a calendar. It is very unique and adds a special touch to your office or any space where you have it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.